Hi Sam, how are you?
I'm fine. Hi, Jerry. How are you?
I'm great. All right. So did you read the some paragraphs about of Well and Posner's about the artificial intelligence?
Yeah, sure. And I think they have talked a lot about how the future will like be. They said that the AI will be much stronger than humans bring, and they can help human beings to solve their problems, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like also we in our Econ 108 class, the Professor Rizzo also talked about the economics 3.0. Like how you may describe how the future that we described as economics 3.0 is related or not related to the future Well and Posner suggest.
Yeah, and I think in the constant world, there are almost infinite resources in the world, and people will not be able to decide which good to produce based on the traditional methods. So I think this time the computer program can help us to solve this problem. They can tell us what to produce based on the aggregate information. But there will be also some problems, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we use computer programs to help us to solve the aggregate information problem. Like, but we also in the future we may develop several computer programs that also we need to choose among them. Like, uh, although the computational power is able to help determine which economic method of measuring utility, wealth, and development people should use, we have dozens of computer programs will exist in the future to tell people what to produce, distributing rewards, and meeting our sanctions as necessary. But the people still do not know which program they should choose. And I think it's like similar to the problem that we face in the economics 3.0, just like we got too much information that we hardly can know which one is the most effective.
Yeah, because the computer cannot make decisions for us. They can just produce information for us to help us make decisions. Hi, Jared. I think Will and Posner also comment in their articles that actually the role of AI in reshaping social organization is surprisingly underestimated and underreported. Why is that? Is it true that people are just unaware?
Uh, well, the Well and Posner state that at the micro level, the role of artificial intelligence in reshaping social organization has received little attention. Maybe in the macro level, the people may focus on they focus more much that they pay more attention. Like, uh, like in the paragraph, Well and Posner said people more focus on whether robot drivers should be programmed to sacrifice a single passenger to save two pedestrians. And I think this is a specific example that people focus. And at the micro level, like general picture, that people may not notice that uh, the influence that the AI bring us to reshaping the social organizations. And um, I think the AI unconsciously influence social organization at the micro level that people may not notice. What do you think?
Yeah, and I think actually the AI developers should have noticed the great potential for their creation, but they just unsell it. Why? I think it is because that they also realized the potential problems correlated with their creations. If the AI was used largely in the macro level, which means they can plan economic operations, purchase orders, or accept delivers, if they were be centralized also if their centralized authority be horribly abused, it will create great unintended consequence, and they are afraid of it, so they just choose to undersell it.
Yeah, I think for AI develops to undersell their creations potentially because they do not want to bring big change for humans. Like people may not get used to it. So the AI develops try to change people's world or social organization gradually instead of making a big step. Like they may know that uh, the effect of AI is big, but they need to undersell it because people may not accept this big change at uh, at at a very short moment, and in the long term, like the AI develops will gradually change the social organization.
Yeah, true, true.
All right. So we seem to be transitioning from a world of humans telling computers what to do to a world of computers telling humans what to do. Like computers are very good at estimating aggregate response, but struggle to individualize their results. If computers told us all what to produce and how to distribute it, and people actually did it, what would happen to the will of people in the political sense?
I think that will destroy the world people in the political science. Because just to imagine that if everyone obeys the computer's orders and to do what computers tell us to do, it will become a world that everyone is the same. They are just like replicated people, and they would not have characteristics based on their own opinions. They will no longer have their own wills. For example, in the poll of the president, if everyone has to what computer told us and which candidate to vote, it will no longer need this kind of process. They can just use the result of the computer program and to decide which would be the next president.
Yeah, I just have the same thought with you. Like in the presidential election, like if the computer tells us, like Joe Biden has better future and you will get more benefits, from Joe Biden instead of uh, Donald Trump, like uh, then people will most likely to choose Joe Biden because the computer tells us, and um, it will reduce the uncertainties, which is part of the beauty of human lives. Uh, Also, what will affect to the education?
I think it would also affect a lot in the education because in the current education systems, we encourage children to have their own thoughts, their own opinions of certain problems. But if in the future world, everyone just do what computers tell us to do, but it will make everyone have the same thoughts, have the same opinions, and they will no longer have the ability to invent new things in the future when they grow up, right?
Yeah. Also, like when we decide to which university we should go, like if the computers are rational, like they may they may not have the personal preference, like it, like the computers may rely on the university ranks. Like if the university has higher rank, and it may suggest you to go, but it's totally not the whole story, right? So what people have different personalities, different characteristics. So I think the computers may not so effective in this sense.
Yeah, true. And I also think that if people just did what computer told them to do, it will become the world will become no longer energetic. Everyone will be the same, and the world will be kind of cold.
Yeah, the computers may suggest to students what they need to learn based on the computer's predictions of future trades. Uh, for example, like if the computer may suggest economics will be prevalent and popular in the future, so the school may decide to ask every student to study on economics, but it may have an intended consequence that so many people learn economics, and the future trade may not be economics anymore, right?
Yeah, and I think it also neglect the personalities of each individuals because the computers can only predict general traits for the future, but they cannot produce or predict the best prediction for each individuals because they have different backgrounds, different education levels, and different personalities. They will have different choice when they have to do a decision to choose their like universities, their majors, things of that.
Yeah.
Hi, Jerry. According to the article, someone have stated that the market may have just gotten started due to the creation of the AI. What do you think in this problem?
From my perspective, I don't think the markets will be doomed. Like, I think it's just gonna start a new form of market. Like, markets are the places for exchanging goods. Although the computers may tell us which stuff we need to produce and how to distribute it, but in different districts or in different countries, we may have different things to produce, and we will we still need to exchange things or goods. Like, for example, if in China they produce plastic bottles, and in America they produce something like uh, I don't know, like plastic bags. And since in China that we may not have so much plastic bags, so we still need to exchange plastic bags from the United States. Like, we still need exchange anyway. And I believe that the market will be more efficient in the future, since computational power can tell people how they can effectively distribute their production and economic activities.
Yeah, I think your thought is reasonable, but I have some different thoughts with you because I think the market will be doomed due to the creation of the AI. Because traditionally, market is a place which price can show people's desire for some products. If the price increase, people would buy less goods, and if the price decrease, they will buy more goods. However, if people just do what computers told them to do, they will not reflect any their personalities on the marketing in the market. They will just buy what computers told them to buy, and they will no longer show their own desire.
Yeah. Um. So basically, like, since markets are a plan, like, I mean, the economics are planned. Like, there's no price. That's because we have already um like decided which we should produce and which things uh we need to do in the economics. Is that your point? Like,
Yeah, because I think price show people's different desire for some goods. And for example, if people really wants to buy certain kinds of goods, they will buy the products even if the price is high. But if this person do not have much desires, or we can say strong desires for certain kinds of products, they will not buy the product even the price is really low, right?
yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Well, according to Well and Posner's, like they said, a central planning machine obviously could not rely on market behavior. Markets would be hypotheses be gone, but it could derive information from people's behavior as well as from their physical and psychological attributes to the extent these are observable. And how it does this may well resemble what Netflix or Amazon does today. Will it affect your answer in question 4?
Yeah, and I think according to the statement done by Will and Personal, they mean that a central planning machine will not do their decisions based on the market behavior, but based on different people's behavior. But if we move to a future which AI tell us which to produce, which to buy, and which to sell, the people's behavior will no longer reflect any personalities or desires of people themselves. It will just write the decisions made by them, but it could not reflect their physical or psychological attributes. And the mode we use today, which used by Netflix and Amazon, will no longer work because they no longer can use different persons or people's behaviors to know which people are think and what are they interested, right?
Right. So like in we use Amazon like when we search for certain things, it will recommend similar things. Like also in the Netflix, we watch some kind of movie, it will recommend similar kinds of movie. Like it's personal incentives, it's personal preference. Like if the AI did a job for me, like because AI plan what we should to do, like our personal preference will not be achieved. Like um, we have planned things, and we don't have like the things we really want.
Yeah, because AI is if the AI tells what to buy and what to sell, people will just obey them orders, and it will become a market which everyone just did the simplest job. Because AI do not have incentives and they also do not have interest. They can only produce the most efficient way or method which people can use to solve their problems. But sometimes what people want is not the most efficient method, but what they think is interesting and they want to buy.
Yeah, people have different needs and incentives.